Have you ever stopped to think about what will happen when you can no longer make all the important decisions for yourself? I'm not talking about what will happen with your assets or documents, but about what truly matters. Your essence, your freedom to choose, your everyday life. Let's be honest, when we reach a certain age, many think that the most logical thing is to leave everything in their children's hands. But what if I told you that this idea of tranquility they sell you could actually be a trap that robs you of years of a fulfilling life? It might sound a bit dramatic, but allow me to explain. Today we are going to explore 7 essential keys so that you don't leave your old age in your children's hands. Because, even though you love them deeply, the best gift you can give them is not to depend on them, but to ensure that you remain in control of your life. Let me share with you a reflection that might change the way you see your life. In ancient Japan, it was a common belief that the duty to care for the elderly fell on the children. But even then, the wise would say, true peace is the one we cultivate ourselves, not the one we expect to receive from others. Imagine a high and solitary mountain. When youth blossoms, we are like a river running towards the peak, full of strength and speed. But when we grow older, the river calms down and flows more slowly. However, we must learn to build our own refuge on the mountain, so that when the river stops, we are ready. If you are ready to discover these 7 keys, write, "My life is, and will be, full and secure, amen." Remember that by writing it, you decree it. 1. Learn the art of simplifying your life. In ancient times, the wise said that life is like a pond. If the water is full of stones and dead leaves, you cannot see the bottom. But if we clean the pond, the water becomes clear and reflects the sunlight. In the same way, our inner self becomes clearer and more serene when we learn to remove what is unnecessary from our lives. Simplifying your life does not mean living without anything, but learning to distinguish the essential from the superfluous. Imagine your life as a garden. For years, we have let plants and flowers grow, but also weeds and thorns. Every possession, every responsibility, and every worry is like a plant that takes up space in that garden. If we don't clean it up, soon the garden becomes dense, hard to navigate, and in the end, the disorder becomes a burden. The act of simplifying starts with an honest look at what we truly need. Ask yourself, does this object, this commitment, this relationship, truly bring me peace and joy, or does it simply take up space in my life? From this reflection comes the practice of detachment, a liberation that is not about giving up for the sake of it, but letting go of what no longer serves your well-being. There is a special power in having less. When your belongings are few, each of them acquires a deeper value. The ceramic bowl you use daily for tea becomes a companion, rather than just another utensil lost among many. The clothes you choose to wear feel closer because each piece was chosen with intention. Simplifying also extends to our activities and commitments. In a life filled with many commitments, we find ourselves scattered like leaves in the wind, with no time to savor the present moment. But when you reduce your responsibilities to the essentials, you rediscover the depth of each action. It's no longer about doing many things, but about doing a few with total presence. A single walk at sunset, a single well-read book, a mindful conversation. This way, every experience becomes more meaningful. External clutter is a reflection of the mind. When you reduce what you have and what you do, you also clear the inner noise. The mind, which was once occupied with worries and material desires, begins to quiet down. You start to enjoy the silence. And in that silence, you discover the richness of life itself. The simple sound of the breeze, the warmth of the sun on your face, the song of a bird. These are the treasures that the art of simplifying brings us. But remember, simplifying is not a one-time act. It is a continuous process, like pruning a growing tree. As the years pass, review your life and remove what no longer blooms. Let each day be a step towards lightness, towards a life where you can feel free from unnecessary burdens and embrace what truly matters. Thus, when the days of rest arrive and the sun begins to set in your life, you will find that the path is much easier to walk because you have freed your spirit from burdens that never belonged to it. May you find on this path to simplicity the peace of a well-tended garden and the joy of a life where less becomes more. 2. Develop your sense of daily purpose. Purpose is like the sun that rises each morning. It illuminates, warms, and gives meaning to each new day. Without that sun, our days can become long and cold, losing the clarity that guides us. As the years go by and physical strength fades, This sun, this purpose, becomes even more essential. It is what gives direction to each step, even if the step becomes slow and the path lengthens. During youth, our purpose is often dictated by responsibilities and obligations. Work, family, children. But in old age, when the burdens lighten and the days feel longer, some feel that sense of usefulness that once seemed so natural begins to fade. However, it is at this moment that the opportunity arises to rediscover what truly fulfills us and connects us with life. Purpose does not need to be great or recognized by others to be valuable. In fact, it is the small daily missions that sustain the spirit. The act of watering plants, for example, is more than just watering. It is a way of giving life, of caring. Each drop that falls is a reminder that you can still nurture another being, that your presence is still a source of life for something else. Seeing a plant grow and bloom under your care is like seeing a reflection of your own existence. Writing a thought each morning is another way of maintaining that purpose. It is a moment of connection with yourself, with the experience accumulated over the years. It doesn't matter if that thought is a deep reflection or a simple gratitude for the new day. What matters is the act of writing, of shaping your ideas, of capturing your presence in the world in words. It is a way of telling yourself, today, a part of me remains written, it endures. And then there's the simple act of making a tea with love. The simplest gestures can become acts of deep meditation. As you boil the water, as you watch the leaves release their essence, you are practicing full presence. It's not just tea that you prepare, but a moment of peace for yourself. As you sit to savor it, you feel the warmth between your hands, the aroma filling the air, and it's as if each sip reconnects you with the present. In that moment, purpose becomes as clear as the scent of tea. To be here now, enjoying this instant. Having a daily purpose, even if it seems small, is what gives structure to each day. It's like a thread that ties the hours together, and even though the tasks are simple, they allow you to feel useful, to feel that there is something worth your energy and attention. By finding these small missions, you give time a meaning, and life feels less like a river flowing aimlessly and more like a lake that reflects the sky. Remember, each day can be an offering, a tribute to life. Sometimes, the simple act of watching the sunrise and being grateful for the light that arrives is enough to give purpose to that day. Other times, it's the smile you offer to a neighbor, the seed you plant in the ground, or the poem you recite to yourself. What matters is that, in each gesture, you feel that your life is still valuable, that every day you wake up there is a reason, however small, to get up. Thus, when night comes and your eyes close, you will feel that that day was a well-used gift, and the next morning, you will have a new mission that motivates you to keep moving forward, step by step, day by day. May you find peace in every purpose you discover, knowing that you are still part of the great fabric of life. 3. Keep a gratitude and memory journal. A gratitude and memory journal is more than just a notebook. It's a refuge, a corner where the soul can rest and remember that, even on gray days, there have been moments of sunshine. Storing gratitude and happy memories in its pages is like planting a garden where past smiles bloom, a garden you can return to when the present feels barren and cold. Gratitude is a seed that, if cultivated with care, grows strong and deep in our hearts. Spending a few minutes at the end of each day to note down 3 things you feel grateful for is an act of humility and appreciation. They don't have to be major achievements. On the contrary, the most valuable things are often the simplest. The fresh morning breeze, a meal shared with a loved one, the sensation of a ray of sun on your skin. These small things, when recorded day after day, start to form an invisible treasure that you carry with you. But this journal is not just for gratitude. It's also for keeping the moments that made you smile, the instances of tenderness and joy that life has given you. Perhaps you write down the memory of a summer afternoon when a child smiled at you in the park, or the day you found a wildflower on your usual path. Maybe you remember the laughter of a friend, the hug of a loved one, or the deep silence of a starry night. These moments, which may seem insignificant, are like pearls that time has left for you on the shore of memory. Keeping these memories is like lighting a lantern in the dark. Because, as we know well, life has its seasons, and there will be days when the fog of sadness or loneliness covers the landscape. On those days, when you feel that the sun isn't shining, you can open your journal and read those words you wrote yourself. Words that will remind you that life has been generous, that there has been beauty and joy along your way. Each written page is a testament that you have lived fully, that you have been able to see the light even in the midst of shadow. And when your hands tremble and your sight grows weaker, that journal will be a faithful companion. You can read it in the quiet of the afternoon, feel each memory like a gentle breeze caressing your face, and find comfort in the certainty that your life has been a journey full of nuances, of small joys that gave color to your existence. Writing in this journal is an act of love toward yourself, a gift you give yourself today to open tomorrow. It's a way of saying to yourself, my life has been a path full of small steps, but in each step there was beauty, there was something to be thankful for. Sometimes, in old age, we may feel that time slips away like water through our fingers, but by writing and remembering, we stop it for a moment and transform it into something eternal. So, dear friend, take a notebook, any notebook, and turn each page into an offering of gratitude. May you feel, when you open it in the days to come, that each sheet is a reflection of your life, like a mirror that shows your smiles, your tears, and the peace of having lived fully. May this journal become a lantern that never goes out, and with each word you write, may you come a little closer to the light that has always been inside you. 4. Create a serenity box. A serenity box is a simple yet profound refuge, a place where you keep little treasures that, when touched, seen, or smelled, bring back the calm that sometimes slips through the fingers of the mind. It's like an island in the middle of a stormy ocean, a space that waits for you, patiently, for when the waves of sadness or worry crash hard within. Each object you choose to place in that box is an anchor that brings you back to the present, to quiet, to the memories that nourish. You don't need a fancy box. Any container will do, because its true value lies in what it holds inside. Find a quiet corner of your home, where you can access it anytime. Maybe near a window where sunlight streams in, or on a shelf in the room where you rest. This corner, though small, will become a sanctuary of peace. The objects you choose for your box should be those that, when touched, whisper serene memories, that make you feel that life has its beauty, even on dark days. Perhaps you keep a smooth stone, picked up during a walk by a river. As you hold it, you can feel the coolness of the water that once caressed it, and how time smoothed it, just as life experiences shape and soften us, making us more patient and gentle. A photo of a beautiful place, a landscape you visited or dream of visiting, can be another one of those treasures. When you look at it, you'll feel as if a gentle breeze is transporting you back to that corner of the world, where perhaps the trees whispered with the wind, or the sea stretched beyond the horizon. That image can help you remember that the beauty of nature is still there, waiting for you, no matter how much the world around you has changed. A letter from a loved one, handwritten with words that brought you comfort at another time in your life, can also be a powerful object for your box. When you read those words again, you'll feel the presence of that person, even if they are no longer physically with you. Their words will wrap around you like a hug, reminding you that the love and support of those we've cherished does not fade away, but endures in gestures and words. And maybe, inside the box, you'll keep a small handkerchief with a fragrance that calms you, or a feather you found along the way that makes you think of the lightness of birds. Each object is a bridge to serenity, a reminder that peace lies in simple things, in what connects us to the earth, the sky, and those we have loved. When you feel your heart racing and your mind filled with thoughts like a stormy sky, open your box. Sit in silence and take each object, one by one. Allow yourself to feel it. Remember the moment it came into your hands, the reason you chose it. Breathe deeply, as if with each inhalation you are absorbing the calm that the object holds, and with each exhalation, you are letting go of the anguish and heaviness. This small ritual is a return to yourself, to that part of your being that always remains calm, even when the surface is stirred. Sometimes, in the simplicity of opening a box and touching an object, we find a way to reconnect with the peace that dwells deep within us. It is an act of self-care, a way to remind yourself that serenity is never as far away as it seems. May your serenity box become a faithful companion on the journey, a refuge you can always visit, and each time you open it, may you feel calm embrace your spirit, like water that settles after a storm. And so, little by little, the anguish will dissolve, leaving only the gentle echo of the peace that dwells in the present. 5. Learn to manage solitude with nature. Solitude, although it may feel like a heavy void, is also an opportunity to find oneself more deeply. And nature is a silent teacher that is always there, offering comfort to those who approach it with an open heart. In the midst of solitude, when the days grow long and companionship fades away, nature becomes a faithful ally, a companion that does not judge and welcomes us just as we are. Choosing a tree to visit is like choosing a friend who is always ready to listen. Trees have witnessed countless sunrises and starry nights. They have seen the wind and rain, the heat of summer, and the cold snow of winter. They possess a patience that can only be gained with time. By finding that tree that draws you in, one that inspires peace or makes you feel safe under its shade, you will have found an anchor point in this changing world. Make your visits a small ritual. Perhaps you will visit it when the sun is low, when the birds sing their last songs of the day, or maybe you'll prefer the mornings, when the breeze is cool and the leaves whisper softly. Sit next to it and breathe, feeling the fresh air caress your skin, the same air that nourishes its leaves. In those moments, you can speak to it in silence, or simply listen, because although trees do not speak in words, they have their own language. Observe its trunk, rough and full of stories, its branches that reach towards the sky like an embrace. Notice how it changes throughout the year. Some days you will see it covered in green leaves, vibrant and full of life, and other times it will be bare, with its branches extended like an old man shedding what he no longer needs. And yet, it remains rooted, present, regardless of the season. Trees teach us that life is in constant motion, that cycles of change are natural and necessary. Each falling leaf is a farewell, but also a prelude to what is to come. Just like the tree, you also go through your own seasons. There will be moments of deep solitude, feeling as if the branches of your life are bare and fragile, but there will also be days when new leaves and flowers will bloom, renewing your spirit. If you ever feel overwhelmed by loneliness, approach your tree and place your hand on its trunk. Close your eyes and feel its strength. That strength is the same that flows through the earth, that sustains life everywhere. And by being there, in silence, you might sense that, in some way, you too are part of that cycle, of that flow of energy that connects all living beings. Loneliness fades when you understand that, like that tree, you are part of a whole, connected to the earth, the sky, and the life that breathes around you. Nature, with its immense patience, reminds us that time does not stand still, that sadness and loneliness also pass, like the rain that nourishes the soil and then fades away. Each time you visit that tree, you strengthen that bond with life, and little by little, what once felt like a sense of isolation turns into a feeling of belonging. Make your connection with nature a refuge, a place to return to when the world feels distant and cold. Because even though modern life takes us away from natural rhythms, we can always return to them, to that ancient wisdom that trees offer us, reminding us that, even in solitude, we are never truly alone. 6. Develop a routine of daily micro-help. The routine of daily micro-help is an act of cultivating the heart, a practice where each gesture, though small, becomes a seed of kindness. In a world that sometimes seems hurried and distant, these small actions can be like the gentle breeze that relieves the heat of a heavy day. They don't need to be grand or visible, but rather sincere and constant, like the drop that, over time, wears away the rock. Dedicate a few minutes each day to offering help, no matter how small, as a way to keep your spirit active and connected to the world. Imagine that every morning when you wake up, you think, how can I bring a little light today? The answer doesn't need to be grand. Maybe it's giving a smile to a neighbor, or sending a message to a friend you haven't seen in a long time. Perhaps it means helping someone carry a heavy bag or sharing a kind word with a stranger on the street. These gestures, although simple, have the power to change someone's day and, at the same time, transform your own. It's important to understand that you won't always see the results of these actions immediately, and that's okay. These micro-helps are like planting seeds in the soil. Some will sprout quickly, while others will sleep through the winter, waiting for the right moment to bloom. But over time, you'll realize that by helping others, you're also cultivating something within yourself. There's a warmth you feel when you see that your presence can lighten someone's load, no matter how small. When old age knocks on the door, you might feel that you no longer have the same role in the lives of others, that your physical strength diminishes, and everyday tasks become slower. However, the ability to give, to offer a gesture of kindness, doesn't depend on physical strength but on the openness of the heart. And these small actions, even if they seem insignificant, are powerful because they come from a genuine place. Micro-helps also keep you in touch with the present, reminding you that each day offers the opportunity to do something meaningful. At the end of the day, when you sit down and reflect on the moments you experienced, you'll find satisfaction in remembering that smile you gave, that call you made, that attentive listening you offered. The satisfaction of knowing that, in your own way, You help someone feel a little less lonely, a little happier. And when the winter of life arrives, when the days become shorter and energy wanes, those small seeds of kindness you planted over time will bloom, not only in the hearts of those who received your help, but also in your own. Because every time you do something good for another, you create a bond that connects you to the cycle of giving and receiving, a cycle that keeps the world turning. In the end, it doesn't matter how small these actions are. What matters is that they come from a sincere desire to do good. And in that sincerity, there is a strength that never weakens, a strength that multiplies with each gesture and becomes the best antidote against the coldness of loneliness. 7. Practice sensory anchoring. Practicing sensory anchoring is a profound and simple way to reconnect with the present, to find a peace that often fades amid the ebb and flow of thoughts. As the years pass, the mind can become like a river that flows rapidly, carrying us from one thought to another, from the past, where we sometimes cling to old stories, to the future, where we fear the unknown. However, the art of sensory anchoring invites us to pause and witness the beauty of the now. Imagine walking barefoot on the earth. Feel the texture, the coolness, and the firmness of the ground beneath your feet. Each step becomes a meditation. Each touch of the ground anchors you in the present. With every step, remember that you are here, in this moment, and that you are part of something greater. The simple act of feeling the earth can transform mental scattering into a deep connection with the world around you. Nature offers countless sensory anchors. Listen to the murmur of a nearby stream, that constant melody whispering ancient secrets. Each drop is a note in the symphony of life. Allow yourself to be carried by that sound, letting each drop anchor you more deeply in the experience of the here and now. Watch how the water flows, how it adapts to the obstacles in its path. This act of listening will remind you that life is also a flow, a continuous movement that doesn't always require your control. Likewise, pay attention to the crunching of leaves underfoot. This sound, so familiar, can evoke memories of other times. But instead of being carried away by nostalgia, allow yourself to simply listen. Feel how each crunch brings you back to the present moment. Each leaf is a connection, a reminder that you are alive and that nature follows its course, regardless of your concerns. Sensory anchoring can also be practiced through touch. Close your eyes and touch a soft fabric, a flower petal, or even the surface of the water. Feel the textures. Let your fingers explore unhurriedly. Allowing your sense of touch to envelop you is a powerful reminder that you still have the ability to experience life in a tangible way. This simple practice can help calm an agitated mind, as each sensation becomes a thread that ties you to the present moment. As you practice sensory anchoring, you will notice that, when facing moments of anxiety or distraction, you can turn to your senses as a refuge. The next time you feel your mind scatter, seek an anchor. Take a deep breath and maybe place your hands in the cold water of a stream or watch the dance of leaves in the wind. Let these moments gather you, reaffirm you in your being, and remind you that the present is where life truly happens. The practice of sensory anchoring is a gift you give to yourself, a way of approaching life with the curiosity and openness of a child. As we age, anchoring becomes a compass that guides us through the fog of time. It helps you let go of the weight of past worries and future anxieties, giving you the freedom to simply be. Thus, the act of anchoring yourself through your senses will allow you to experience the fullness of each moment. With each anchor, you'll become more aware of the wonders that surround you, and every small detail will become a celebration of life itself, a reminder that there is always beauty, even on the grayest days. Practice sensory anchoring, and with every step, you'll remember that life is a gift, and the present moment is where the true magic happens. These 7 lessons, like precious stones, may seem small, but within them lies a wisdom that many are unaware of. They are advice for a dignified and enriching old age, where the mind remains active and the spirit feels at peace. Remember, true strength in life is not about resisting the passage of time, but knowing how to flow with it like a river that does not fear reaching the ocean. May these teachings accompany you, and may you find peace in every step of your journey.